Hello and welcome to the Low Code Podcast. I'm Faraz Khan from iTrack, and we are the global specialists in OutSystems recruitment. With this podcast, our aim is to increase awareness and appreciation of OutSystems and its impact and benefits to the market, and our early adoption is giving competitive edge to businesses worldwide. During our podcast, myself and my colleague Sushil Chauhan will be speaking to IT leaders and OutSystems MVPs on how OutSystems has transformed their businesses and careers. We also hope that by speaking to MVPs on their career journeys, we can inspire developers from all over the world to learn from others who have already been on the path. So let's go. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Code Podcast. Today my guest is Orla Dijkink from the Netherlands, OutSystems MVP. Hello Orla.
Hi, Faraz.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me there.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. It'd be great to kind of start with finding a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Orla. I'm an OutSystems developer for about 6 years now. I started out as a Cobol developer, and I did that for 3 years. I had a lot of fun, and then my company decided that I was young and I should do something different. And they kept giving me ideas. You could do this. And I was like, no, it's not for me. It's not for me. And then they said, we have this new thing we're going to do. It's called OutSystems. Do you want to do it? So, is it programming? They said, yes, sure, let's do it. And I had no clue what I was getting into. I just said yes, and I enjoyed it every minute. So I've been doing that now for 6 years. I'm loving it.
So when they kind of introduced OutSystems to you, were they new to OutSystems as well? They were just deciding to go down that direction?
Yeah, they just decided to go in that direction, and they were starting the first team at the company. Yeah. And I was the first person that said yes.
So were you skeptical at all in the beginning? Were you like, oh, what's this technology?
Went in completely blind. I had no clue.
Okay. So what, at that time in the Netherlands, was OutSystems quite established or?
Yeah. There were some big companies already doing it for a few years, and there was a group of developers already.
Okay.
And there were some OutSystems partners, and we had help when we started as well.
Yes. Okay. So did you reach out to anyone, or did they supply you with training? How did the process work in the beginning?
I just started with the online training, because OutSystems has a lot of online trainings. Yes. And 6 years ago already the online trainings were really good. And I just started with that. It was during the summer holiday, so it was quiet, and I just started training. And
you had some time on your hands to learn.
Yeah, and then afterwards, when we actually had a team, a small team, we also got support from OutSystems. We were in the customer success program, so we had some master classes and people on standby for help. Yeah.
Okay. So when did the kind of MVP thing come along for you?
Well, I've been asked a few times, just for fun, like, hey, you're a woman, we need more women.
Yes, that's a big topic, yeah.
And I said, no, like, it's not for me. I don't feel qualified.
Yeah, sure.
And then at one point, Vera, she does the MVP program. She asked me again. I said, sorry, I really don't have the time. I was doing my master's. I was writing my master's thesis. Like, no. After that, yes, maybe, but before that, no.
Yeah. So going back, what kind of like you just mentioned, everyone wants more women in technology, and it's always I think there's only 4 women MVPs compared to the men. There's a load of them. So when I was looking through the MVP page, it's really hard to spot women in there. So what kind of pushed you into technology in the first place?
I've always been interested in technology and in programming, but for me, it wasn't a field I wanted to work in.
Sure.
But I didn't know what to study, so I went for computer science. Because it's better to do something you're interested in.
Sure.
And then I didn't know what I wanted to work in afterwards. So I decided, well, I might do what I'm trained for a few
Sure.
years, and changed. And then I actually liked it.
You stayed. So it's worked out good for you.
Yes.
So when did you then, say yes to being an MVP?
After I graduated.
Okay.
I graduated about a year ago.
Okay, great.
I did my master thesis on OutSystems, and that was helpful.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, I felt then like, okay, actually I know stuff about OutSystems. I'm
a bit more prepared.
Yes, and I also, because of the thesis, I also know some things that other people don't know, or kind of more specialized in a few things. And yeah, I can do this now. I can actually be an MVP and
give advice. Yeah.
I don't want to be an MVP because I'm a woman.
Yeah, sure. You want to have your kind of the merit to say, I'm not just trying to tick a box. I'm trying to obviously add value to other junior developers and things like that.
Yes.
So within your current role, is there a lot of training involved for junior staff from your side, or?
Yeah. Well, we have one junior at the moment, and I'm training her. But it's mostly training everybody that's there. It's mentoring mediors, juniors, seniors, but they need little mentoring, of course.
Yeah, sure, of course. And do you want to kind of talk about, where you're currently working, a bit about the business, what they do?
Yeah, well, I work for one of the OutSystems partners in the Netherlands, Linkit, and we're not the biggest one, but we are big size, and we're growing, we're expanding, and we're enjoying what we're doing.
I've seen you've got a very nice office on LinkedIn. I saw the office and I thought, oh, that's a very nice office.
You really do have a really nice office. It's hard that I cannot be there.
Yeah.
Every time I go into the office, I feel energized. I'm like, yes. We're expanding, and we're trying mostly to do projects so that we can work together and not put people on their own as clients.
Sure.
So we can enjoy each other.
And do you guys specialize in just the Dutch market or international?
We started in the Dutch market, but we're expanding. Mostly now the DACH region, so Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Nordics we're trying as well, and we're doing some international stuff as well.
How do you find those regions? Because I found obviously Germany that it's not really as established as Netherlands, or even I think the UK is a lot more established than Germany. Even looking for developers in Germany is like a needle in the haystack.
Yeah, I don't think there are a lot of German developers yet. There are a few, of course. There are people from Portugal that went to Germany.
Yes.
But there are not a lot of German developers.
Yeah.
I know for one client, we're doing a project. We're also training a few people so that they can step in when we leave, or they can join the project.
Okay.
But there's not a lot of developers there yet.
Yeah, sure. For someone who's been, using OutSystems for 6 years now, what would you kind of say? I think even 6 years ago, OutSystems wouldn't be as well known I think probably in Portugal and Netherlands and the USA, it was probably quite well known, but to the rest of the world, not so much. Maybe a bit in the APAC region as well, I'd say. But what would you kind of say has been the key factors that have made them, the unicorn business that they are at the moment?
I think for mostly because developers actually enjoy working with it. So they promise speed and everything, but then you need to deliver.
Sure.
And I think that, well, first of all, they have a product that works, but you need developers as well that can deliver, and they'd be really good at creating those developers and having a community and making sure that everybody enjoys working with it. And I think that's a very underestimated part
Yeah,
of
sure. They really invest in the community team, don't they? Yeah, and I'm guessing like all their trainings online is very useful.
Yes, you if you want, you can just get by with the online training. You don't need personal training or
sure.
in-house training or something
Yeah.
like that. Useful, but you don't need it to work with OutSystems.
Yeah, sure. And have you, since using OutSystems, have you ever kind of thought, let me see what the other guys are like Mendix or Power Apps or anything? Have you ever thought, let me just have a play around and compare?
I haven't really been interested most of all because I really like OutSystems.
And you're probably too busy as well.
Yeah, and I've looked into Mendix a little bit, but that was before my thesis. I kind of wanted to know what terms they were using.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
Maybe I'm very biased because I'm so good at OutSystems, but I was like, this doesn't work for me.
Yeah. And what would you say kind of, they obviously, I think most kind of major announcements come out at next step, but I know MVPs tend to know earlier what's coming out. For the things that are kind of known to the public, what would you say is kind of the top features that they've brought out in the last few years that really have taken them to the next level?
Well, the big one, of course, is React. That has been a major one, and they're still improving. One I really like is the architecture dashboard, and I know that they're still improving it, and I'm hoping it's going to be even better. But I really like that. That's a good, useful tool. And for me, it's mostly the small things actually that I enjoy. That they make development just a little bit better, and like, oh, this is so useful. This always costs me a little bit more time. So I also look forward to the small ones that they don't announce.
They don't make a big announcement about it, but it's still appreciated.
Yes.
So do you now that you are an MVP, you've got kind of the confidence that I know I can talk about OutSystems confidently. Do you get other women asking you for advice, or like more or do you kind of push people in that direction? Not even just women, but just other people from other technologies.
I don't get people ask me like, oh, hey, is OutSystems really a thing for me? Or I just try to tell people, try. Don't, no matter what you want to do, don't be scared, just do it. But I try to help people just in seeing how they can grow. But it's mostly people that are already chosen to do
OutSystems. So then you're kind of just guiding them in whatever questions or assistance.
Yes. How they can learn, because it's being a good developer is more than just being able to program. A lot of other skills as well.
Sure. And talking about the customer side, obviously, I'm not sure if you're part of this process, but when you guys are, let's say, pitching for business and you're coming up against customers who are, you might be you're offering a low code solution and other customers not. How do you find that the customers respond to that?
Well, actually, I am not part of that process. But what I hear, and I also hear that from other partners as well, when they go up against other low code options, that they're always surprised by OutSystems, how much we have done or how much they could create in a day. They're always surprised about OutSystems. We take it for granted.
Well, we we also, even though we speak to MVPs, we also speak to end clients who have used OutSystems, and nearly 90% of them will say, we had this project that we thought was going to take us this long, and we did it in half the time or even quicker, or I think they appreciate that if you have an idea, you can just do it. Within half a day or a day, you can at least get the idea out and then see what it is. And I think that's really appreciated on the client side.
Yeah, that's also my favorite thing about OutSystems.
Yeah.
You can just show something immediately.
Yeah. And are you kind of working on any personal projects with OutSystems that you like to play around with, or you got no time for that?
I always have projects and I never have time for it.
You never have
So
time.
a lot of projects that I started and then never finished.
Never be able to finish, yeah. And I know in Netherlands, there's quite a few user groups and things like that. Has that really grown over the last few years?
Yes. Actually, I've never been to the first ones, but I remember driving a colleague to one.
Yeah.
And I think there was 10 people there or something.
Wow. Yeah.
And the last one last year that we had in person, there was about 100 people there.
Okay, that's good.
So they've grown, yes.
Well, next step has moved to Netherlands now, isn't it? So.
Yeah, we always, I'm not sure if it wasn't always, but we've had Next Step here for years.
Yeah. We were meant to come to our first Next Step last year in the Netherlands, and COVID ruined those plans for us. So hopefully, soon again we can go to an event. Are you guys kind of, I'm guessing, still working from home? Are you in a lockdown or?
Well, actually, since yesterday, the lockdown got a little bit easier. We don't have a curfew anymore since last night.
Yeah.
And we can go to the terraces. So, and shops are now open without appointments. You have to have an appointment to go to a shop.
Yeah. Yes. And how did you find the impact of COVID on, the business side of things?
I was working at a client, an insurance client actually, so they're extra safe and don't take any risks.
A lot of security, yeah.
And we were sent home one day and nothing was working, and we decided to figure it out on our own, and it took us a week, and then we had everything in place, and it was so easy.
Yeah.
Really good working from home, and it felt like we were still in the office.
I think what we found is a lot in the very first lockdown last year, beginning of the year, all the customers who usually don't like working from home were very nervous. And then after the first month, they were like, "Oh, actually, it works. It's fine. It's not that bad." And now a lot more customers are open to remote, even fully remote. And by them adapting fully remote, they're now hiring people in other countries, and especially with OutSystems, I think when there's a shortage of developers globally, you need to have a remote workforce. If you've got, like I noticed you guys, all your staff is not in the Netherlands. I think you've got guys and women located in other countries.
Everybody is working officially from the Netherlands. But now, since the lockdown, we have people that have decided to work from somewhere else. Come back to Portugal for a while, or just go somewhere sunny, work from there.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you'd rather be sitting in the sun somewhere rather than you've got the rain, I've got the rain. So we obviously picked the wrong spot to spend lockdown. In regards to kind of what do you see the future with low code and OutSystems? What's your kind of take on where it's going to go?
Yeah, I'm not sure how OutSystems. I know they can get better, and I know they're working really hard on getting better. I'm curious, but I'm guessing it will be more what they're already trying now, the AI supported development. Because a lot of things that we do, even with OutSystems, is very basic, repetitive. You don't need a developer brain for that.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be big. Like you can actually do what we're doing now in a few weeks. You can do it in 1 week or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also now it's a very limited group of companies that use OutSystems or low code. I think that's going to be
Growing.
universal. I think every company is going to use some form of low code.
Yeah. I think what you said was right about, don't have to have a developer brain, where we found a lot of customers when they, start using OutSystems, some of them don't even hire developers. They just train their business analyst. So they've got kind of the business knowledge. And I think that sometimes obviously there's a need for someone who's got that developer background to maybe oversee things. But I think with OutSystems, it gives someone like a business analyst a chance to learn that side of things as well, and expand their skill set, which is, I think, quite an advantage, and it's really good. Where, if you tell a business analyst go learn .NET, I think you'll be there for a while.
Yeah, I think that's good. Just sure, you still need to be with OutSystems. You need to understand architecture and
yes,
quality and so you're future ready. But if you're interested in it, I think everybody can learn it.
Yeah.
And for us as well as developers, we cannot just be a developer. We need to know some stuff about the business side.
Business side, yeah. So it's kind of the developers need to know the business, and the business guys need to kind of understand the technology a little bit.
Yeah, we grow closer together.
Yeah, and I guess that's where kind of the online classes with OutSystems really helps, and all the training that they do as well.
Yeah, you can train everybody.
Yeah, that's really good. And just kind of the final thing, our goal is to obviously create awareness for OutSystems. So for people who are either skeptical of OutSystems or even low code, or skeptical of giving it a go, what would kind of be your message to push them over the line as someone who did it themselves? I know you kind of just thought, I don't know anything, I'll give it a go. There are people, I think, that's a good way to go about it. Just give it a shot. But what would you be your, now that you're 6 years in, you're an MVP, what would be your kind of advice?
Well, the first one is just try it.
Yeah.
You can see what's possible. But yeah, I think a lot of developers are scared that they're not developing.
They're not writing code.
Yeah, but you're still developing, you're still creating stuff, you're just writing it down differently.
Yeah.
And my goal is not to write code. My goal is to create applications.
Yes, exactly.
So I always try to point people in that direction. Like, the goal is not to write as much code as possible in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess for some people it's never going to be it. They just enjoy like
writing
coding
code.
And perfecting that. But for a lot of people, it is about creating something useful. And I think for those people, they should just try and see.
Yeah, having an end product.
Yes, and I think those, if you come from a normal coding background and you can see the advantage of OutSystems and what you can do with it, and those people are going to be really good at it. And I enjoy it.
Amazing. Well, thank you for your time. It was great having you on.
Thank you.
It was really useful. And hopefully we can catch up again soon. Yes. Maybe at the next step one day when things go back to normal, I'll be booking my ticket. So thanks again and all the best.
Yes, thank you so much. I had fun.
Thank you for listening to the latest episode of the Low Code Podcast, hosted by iTrack, Global OutSystems Recruitment Specialist. Be sure to subscribe and see you next time.